Hello, everybody, and welcome to our 15th studio show of the season on MXGPTV.com. We are at Frauenfeld Gachnang for the second successive year. And as I said, it's round 15. It's the FIM Motocross World Championship presented by IXS, the MXGP of Switzerland. But Lisa, we've got a great show today. We've got our first guest in place here, Alvin Osland. We've got Max Nagel coming in and also Joel Smets from KTM. But before we get started, we are in the middle of our run of three. We were in Belgium last week, here this week, Sweden next week. And, you know, are you looking forward to it?
I am. One thing that I remember from this round last year was the atmosphere with all the fans in the crowd, and especially with Siwa leading. And that's what stands out to me in Switzerland was the atmosphere, and also a busy program as well.
We have
125s, 250s, 300s, so it's going to be pretty busy this weekend.
On top of that, MX2 and MXGP as always. But let's crack on with the show. And our first guest is already in position. The Khmer Yamaha rider from MX2, of course, Alvin Osland. Welcome to our studio show. It's round 15. How are you feeling coming into this one? Are you looking forward to it?
Thank you. Yeah, I really looking forward to it. We train and we have a good training, and yeah, keep making small progress. So looking forward to make some good results.
You're 14th in the championship at the moment. Last year you finished 13th overall in MX2. Are you disappointed with that? Were you expecting better, top 10s maybe?
Yeah, I expecting better. The season, I had a really good winter, and then yeah, the riding was good, but then in Argentina I crashed because yeah, another rider, he crashed behind the jump, and I landed on him, and yeah, I was injured. It was a little bit difficult to come back, but yeah, we come back, and take some time to come back to the same level, but now we are back, so hope to make some good results.
You mentioned Argentina. How much do you think you lost as a result of your crash in Patagonia, as in confidence, bike time as well?
Yeah, much confident, and also a lot of training I miss and racing. So yeah, it was actually more difficult than I thought it would be to come back. So yeah, it's.
What was the injury there? Was it a concussion or was it something else, shoulders or?
Yeah, it was a small bone here, acromion, in the end of the collarbone that I broke. So, and yeah, they wanted to operate, but it will take longer time, so I didn't do. And yeah, I'm happy I didn't do because I come back faster and I have no problem today. So
actually, funny story. Sorry, Lisa. Jackie Vimon came to the hospital there, didn't he? And they said only family is allowed. And,
I heard about this.
And Jackie Vimon, obviously the rider coach, he said, "I'm sorry, only family." He said, "I'm his father." And then your parents weren't there, were they?
No, they was not there. And yeah, they asked me, "Where are your parents?" I say they are not here, and they thought I, you know, hit the head really hard. So they keep me for a long time. But yeah, actually it was no problem. Yeah, it was fun.
I did hear about that story. It's pretty funny. But Alvin, it hasn't been all bad though, has it? Russia, you were 5th overall. Ottobriano, you were 7th. And all 4 races, you're inside the top 8 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some really good results also. Especially Ottobriano, I really like that track. And yeah, I feel strong in the heat. So yeah, it was some good results also.
Seems like your best results this year have come in difficult conditions, obviously in the mud in Russia, and then here in Italy where it was very, very hot. Why is that, do you think? You just prefer it when conditions are tough like that? You don't like the high-speed racetrack? You like something a little bit more technical?
I don't know, actually. But when it's muddy, I often stay cool. And, you know, many guys, they go down and they say, "Oh, it's shit, it's muddy," and then just make me stronger. I know they feel like that, so I just smile and yeah, give me some more motivation.
And obviously they go a little bit too full gas when you're a little bit more chilled, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
Well, that was Ottobriano. How was
Lommel last week?
I feel really good, but unfortunately I had a problem with the bike in the qualifier race, so I have to stop after 2 corners. So I had to go to the gate last. So my start was really bad, but the riding was good, and I finished 13 both races. But for sure I was expecting more at this track because normally I ride really good there.
Well, when you look at the lap charts from last week, you see where you were starting outside the top 20, top 25. It's not an easy place to go to, is it, Lommel? Very difficult. Difficult for the concentration, difficult to maintain a rhythm. But talking to you yesterday, you prefer conditions when it's like that. You're more of a sand man than a hard man.
Yeah, I grew up more in the sand, but I don't know. It's more fun, I think, riding in the hard pack. It's more nice with the jumps and stuff. But my best race is in sand, so yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah. What about next week? We go back to Sweden, Uddevalla. And I think that's going to be the first time you have a Grand Prix there, because when you were there previously, you were riding in European Championship. We didn't go there for the World Championship last year. So how are you feeling ahead of your home GP, your first home GP? You're looking forward to it? I guess it's going to be really busy.
Yeah, really looking forward for it. And yeah, I have a lot of fans in Sweden, so yeah, they're really looking forward to it also. And for sure, they're expecting good results, so a little bit pressure, but yeah, I will do my best, and we will see.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a couple questions on social media for you. The first one's from a guy called Brent Van Donning.
You might know him.
172.
Huh?
Yep, some random guy. What's your favourite ABBA song, he says?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. I like them all, but maybe Dancing Queen is a good one.
Oh, yeah. I saw him this morning, actually.
Yeah.
I said, we're going to ask you a question. He went, really? I said, yeah, but why? I said, are you a genuine ABBA fan? And he said, no, it's just that when you arrive one time with your parents or in your parents' car, ABBA was playing, so he just assumed maybe that you're a big ABBA fan.
Okay, I love a bit ABBA. Can't go wrong. Okay, Elliot Pearson, 29, says, how much do you ride during the week?
Now when it depends how it is with the races, but if it's racing every weekend, then I only ride one time. And yeah, in the winter I ride maybe 3-4 times, so it's a lot more in the winter, and maybe focus a little bit more on the other stuff during the season, and try to come more hungry to the race, and yeah, like that. And
in the winter you're doing the snow training? You know, what is it your parents used to do, because they're quite famous, ski?
Yeah, cross-country skiing
Oh, cool.
on the flats. So yeah, I do also a lot. It's a good training for all the bodies, so yeah, it's nice.
Cool. Well, look, we are out of time. Thanks for joining us here this weekend.
Thank you.
All the best for today, tomorrow, and the rest of the season. Alvin Osland, Khmer Yamaha. Right, before we meet our next guest, which will be Max Nagel, let's take a look at some of the highlights from a week ago. Here's MX2 Race 2 from the Fiat Professional MXGP of Belgium. Enjoy. For the second successive Grand Prix, KTM failed to register a foxhole shot. This time in moto number 2, it's Thomas Covington. Meanwhile, Jonas was caught down at the deck. At turn 1, Jed Beaton falling in front of him on the HRC machine. Meanwhile, Covington led for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, but not for long. By the end of the first lap, Jorge Prado was through on his Red Bull KTM. Jeremy Seewer fell from 4th down to 9th and would have a lot of work to do, especially given the fact that his main rival was still outside the points at that moment in the race. Covington got it wrong through the waves. He lost 2nd to the 33 of Julian Lieber on the LRT KTM. Charging through the field, Jonas and Pat Charell. At that moment, they were in 11th and 12th. Whilst Jeremy Seewer was fighting his way back through after that earlier mistake. He made that pass on Calvin Verlandren on the HSF Logistics Motorsport machine to go into 6th. A few laps later, Jonas also went through on his way to an eventual 5th place. Conrad Mewse was having a great ride for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, but he was pushed down to 6th place as Seewer came charging through. And Thomas Covington was impressive in the deep sand, keeping the 33 of Lieber at bay. He went back past the Belgian to get himself into 2nd. But on lap 12, his race came to a shuddering halt. He lost the front and then the back, and he was tossed down the circuit like a rag doll. The American would not score points in moto number 2. Julian Lieber then inherited 2nd. whilst Prado danced away from everybody. Thomas Kjær Olsen was having a better ride. He came home in third, just ahead of Jeremy Seewer and Pauls Jonas coming home in fifth. But it was a win for Jorge Prado, who also raced to his second career Grand Prix victory in his rookie season. But Jonas now leads the championship by 50 points over Jeremy Seewer. Thomas Kjær Olsen is third, but it was a KTM 1-2-3 here at Lommel. Well, of course, that was Belgium 1 week ago. That was the deep sand of Lommel, and here we are in Switzerland. A little bit wet, a little bit muddy, although it is drying out. Our second guest has joined us, Max Nagel, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing from the MXGP side of things. Welcome to our studio show, Max. Just before we start, that was a tough weekend last week, wasn't it? Very deep sand. It never changes down there at Lommel.
Yeah, no, Lommel is always the hardest one of the year.
Yeah. What about you, though? It's been a strange season for you, hasn't it, 2017? What have you done with the 2016 version of Max?
No, this year was pretty much the toughest season so far for me.
Yeah.
I mean, 2011, when there was the back injury, that was something different. But just riding-wise and all the rest was a tough year.
Well, nobody is more aware of the situation than you, you know, in terms of race results and that kind of thing. Last year, 7 podiums, including this one here in Lockett, which was the final one. How frustrating has it been for you as a rider that, you know, given what you've been doing over the last few years, regular podiums, you were leading the World Championship 2 years ago as well, and then this year, just not quite firing. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know, actually. We had actually a good winter. We did a lot of testing and preparation, so everything went well. And then when the races start, it didn't go. First of all, I had the problems with the starts, because I always had good starts in the past. And then with the new metal grill, I was struggling big time to get it right, to find a setup on the bike to really shoot off the gate. I'm pretty small and light person. That was in the beginning. I was really struggling to get the front wheel down because you have so much traction on that gate, and testing a lot. And the first, I think, 7-8 GPs, I was never top 15 on the first corner, and then it's so difficult to climb up.
And you're 7th in the points at the moment. How much is that down to the competition in MXGP? Is it tougher than it's ever been in the class?
It's always tough, but I mean, every year looks like that the challenge gets more and more, because more and more riders finish on the podium, different riders. So it's all about the start. You need to get a good start, and no crash, of course, and it's just hard, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the starts and the grill system. Why is it that you struggle on the start with the new system, do you think?
Because you have no wheel spin. All the power you have goes immediately into the wheel, and when you're a light person, we have so much power on the 450s that I'm sitting already on the fuel tank to get all the weight front, but it's not enough to keep the front wheel down, and then it's a bit difficult.
And how much of that is also down to engine management mapping as well? Because, like you say, when it was the dirt, you could allow for wheel spin, and you know the bike kind of sinks into the ground a little bit. Whereas this, it's rubber on metal. Even though you've got the whole shot device, the front will have a tendency to come up. But like you say, it's difficult for everybody. Another rider that's struggling is Jose Butron. He's also said the mesh system isn't for him.
Yes.
I guess it's kind of strange, isn't it? You know, you're one of the older guys in the class now as well, and obviously you've gone all your career on dirt, and all of a sudden it's... Yeah,
it changes, and I mean, it's always good if something new is coming, and anyway, it's the same for every rider, but some get the touch really fast, and some takes long, and I mean, finally we got it since Russia or before Russia. I found the right system now to make a good start, and to make it almost every time a good start. And now I had already a few hole shots, maybe not on the Sunday, but on a Saturday and Sunday some good starts. So we're getting better now.
Well, I guess the best chance that you've had of getting a podium this year was France. You won the first race. Were you kind of expecting your season was going to turn around after that first race win? Because you were riding good there.
Yeah, riding went really well, and I liked the track. It was a nice GP, but there was also not actually too much pressure. Of course, there's always a pressure from my side. When you do good in the first race, you want to do good in the second one. And just second race, I had a good start. I was not leading, but I had a good start, and then struggling big time in the first 2 laps. making too many mistakes and then get passed by some people, and yeah, that's happened there.
But this was great to see at the front, and one of those rare hole shots early in the season as well. Important round Erne.
Yeah, really important, and especially there, like, the starts were good again, and I knew that now the system I have for the start, it works, and it will work for all the rest of the season.
How was the crowd there? It always looks great. Can you hear it when you're out there on the track?
Yeah, the French GP is always something special. They're really emotional, you know, and they really cheer for everyone, and you can hear the atmosphere every time. Yeah.
What's it like when you jump down the hill from the top and you come from the corner and all of a sudden you've got the crowd? It almost looks like a ski, the ski jump kind of crowd.
Yeah, you don't see them because you're so focused on the lines.
Yeah.
But of course you hear them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as we carry on just watching Max just pass through this corner, how about giving you the chance to win with MXGP this weekend? Here's our next competition. Right, this week, as it's the final round of the EMX 300 Championship presented by FMF Racing, they are offering the chance for you to win a selection of FMF clothing that consists of 2 FMF T-shirts, a sweatshirt and a hat. There'll be 2 winners this week, one from Facebook and one from Instagram. On Facebook, all you need to do is like MXGP and FMF Racing and then like and share the post. And on Instagram, you just need to like at MXGP and at FMF73 and then like and share by tagging a friend in the post. You'll also receive a season pass for MXGP TV and MXGP3, the official video game. Of course, for more information, you can go to our website, mxgp.com. So, got to be in it to win it, guys. Good luck with that.
Okay, Max, 5 GPs to go. What's the plan for the rest of the season?
Make it best possible. Finish. I'm now 7th in the championship. There's still possibility climb up 6th and 5th. I mean, gonna be difficult, I know, but that's still the goal, yeah.
Okay. Well, the FIM Monster Energy Motocross Nations is on the horizon. Have you got any Team Germany news for us?
Not yet. For the moment, looks like pretty much same than last year. Same team. But the final decision is not made yet.
You're looking forward to it?
Yeah, of course. And especially it's not that far. It's in Great Britain. It's a nice track. For sure, they will change it. They will make something really special again. And the crowds anyway always so crazy there. So it's nice atmosphere to ride, yeah.
And it's a nice circuit as well, isn't it? Quite open, good dirt.
Yeah, if it's not raining, it's great dirt, yeah.
Rain?
Yeah.
In England?
No, never.
October?
Don't jinx it.
No. Just really quickly, initial thoughts of the track here. Have you had a chance to look around?
Yeah, we walked the track yesterday, and it's a bit longer. They've put a new loop in.
Yes.
And all the rest looks nice, quite smooth. But with the rain we had Thursday, Friday, yeah, it's in the moment a bit a mess out there. But I think the track will dry up.
It looks like it's getting wider.
Yes,
and
to get more lines.
And I just saw the start from the 125 Last Chance race. It was pretty safe for those guys, but hopefully no problems today. Right, Max Nagel, thanks for joining us. All the best for today and the rest of the season. Max Nagel, ladies and gentlemen. Right, before we meet our final guest, let's check out some of the highlights from MXGP last week in Belgium. Here's highlights from MXGP Race 2. Tim Geiser got himself up and over the back end of the bike, but it was Tony Cairoli at the start of MXGP Race 2 that charged to his 12th foxhole shot of the season. Just behind him, Jeffrey Hurlings. Max Anstey gave chase as Kevin Strybos this time sampled the dirt at turn 2. Jeffrey Hurlings wasted no time finding his way past Cairoli. In fact, before the end of the first lap, the bullet was through, but Tony Cairoli was in no mood for messing around. He chased his teammate, ate a lot of roost in the process as well, but they put on the show for the fans. DeSalle on the Monster Energy Kawasaki was third, ahead of the 99 of Anstey, whilst both the HRC machines of Bobryshev and Geiser were also well placed inside the top 7 or 8. Arminas Desiconis, he had a great start. He was in there around 6th place with that pass on Koldenhoff. Meanwhile, Clement DeSalle was doing his best to fend off the challenge for the 99 of Max Anstey as they battled over 3rd. AJ was on the move still as he tried to make his way inside the top 3. Cairoli jostled with Hurlings once more. They were back and forth, outmaneuvering, outsmarting, outriding each other on more than one occasion. Everything one dished out, the other gave back in equal measure. Cairoli thought he was clear of the bullet. DeSalle fell from third. Anstey and Arminas Jasikonis both went through. The Brit was pushed wide by the Lithuanian, but then he fell soon afterwards and out of the race from third. Anstey then was a lonely figure in third on his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, but up front there was nothing to separate Herlings from Cairoli. But this turned out to be the decisive move. Herlings then started to pull clear of the 222 Tony Cairoli in what was a masterful display, but both riders testing the boundaries of adhesion on their Red Bull KTMs on more than one occasion. DeSalle lost a place to Glenn Koldenhoff in the closing stages, the Dutchman taking fourth. As Tim Geiser sampled the dirt, he fell from 7th, eventually came home in 10th. But it was a win for Jeffrey Herlings. Tony Cairoli was 2nd, Anstey was 3rd, Herlings, Cairoli and Koldenhoff were the top 3. It was a Red Bull whitewash here at the Fiat Professional MXGP of Belgium. Cairoli now 99 points clear of his teammate Jeffrey Herlings, who leapfrogs DeSalle, pushing the Belgian down to 3rd. But a very memorable day here for everybody at Red Bull and KTM. Top 3 in both MXGP and MX2 here this weekend in Lommel. Next stop is Switzerland in 1 week's time. Welcome back, everybody. That was a week ago in Belgium, and our final guest, Joel Smets, joins us, of course, KTM Factory Racing Sports Director. Welcome to our studio show here, round 15. First of all, congratulations on what was a absolutely outstanding performance from the guys last week. Red Bull KTMs 1, 2 and 3 in MXGP, and all KTMs in MX2.
Yeah.
Great weekend.
Yeah, not so much to add. Historic day for KTM.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've really tried to enjoy the moment because you know, like there is a race this weekend again, so we need to be prepared as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming in now, this year, okay, we're almost through the season, but it was your 2nd year in the job in this position. How's it been this time around? What did you learn from last year coming into 2017, and how to deal with the riders and how to manage them? Of course, what you didn't have last year was Jeffrey and Tony in the same category, and how have you had to manage that?
Yeah, that's definitely not always easy.
Yeah.
But first of all, over the winter, we changed our setup a little bit with, let's say, not having the European riders anymore. So because I knew that it was going to be quite a task this year to step it up also with Pols and Jorge in MX2, with Jeffrey leaving the class, and so we had to make sure that we were fighting for the championship as well there. So there was a lot of attention needed, and also in the MX1 class, it was I was convinced that also with Jeffrey, even with all his championships and GPs he had won in the MX2 class, that it was not gonna be just that easy, and it was not gonna be a walkover. So I was convinced about that. So I was, I wanted to have like a little bit hands-free and like so we could focus on what really matters, is winning the championships in those classes. So that's why we slimmed down kind of our setup. And that gave me some breathing room to sacrifice a bit more time, like in the winter, to work a bit in the training camps with Jorge, and then later on in the year also when Jeffrey got his injury, to really sacrifice enough time with him and giving him the confidence and trying to make him come back strong. And of course the fight with Tony and Jeffrey, that's not always easy, because they are both winners as we know them, of course. And somehow maybe this year the fact that Jeffrey had his injury in the beginning of the year helped the job of the team a little bit, because they're not fighting for the championship, they're fighting for GP wins, which is still you know, a world of a difference with fighting for GP world titles. So that helps us a bit this year to get familiar with the situation and stuff like that, and that trains us a little bit to be ready for next year.
I was going to say, next year will be interesting.
Tony has been fantastic this year, but all 3 riders in MXGP class have been performing well, haven't they?
Well, yeah. we all know that the MX1 class at the moment is super competitive. I haven't known that competition for years actually, and everybody is like all the riders are healthy. There are very little riders injured and stuff like that. So nowadays to finish top 10, even top 15 in MX1 classes, you have to be strong, and all details count. And like in the case of Glenn, I'm sure he's better than last year, and he works really hard. But like in that group of riders, their really details decide whether you're gonna make it into the top 5 or even outside the top 10. That's clear. But and of course, Tony did not surprise me because I spent quite some time with all the other riders also in Italy, and so I was a close witness how he prepared himself in the winter, and especially mentally how he was still hungry for GP victories and for world titles. I could really read the ambition in his eyes and the motivation over the winter. Even if we would play a small game of soccer, he would still try to kill us, you know. So really? and then I noticed. I said, oh, Tony definitely is not done. And I think Jeffrey, that's kind of what we expected. Of course, with the injury, having a little struggling in the beginning of the year, but really on level as well now.
Well, last week we finally got to see the Jeffrey and Tony battle.
Yeah.
We saw it a little bit in Ottobiano, but in Lommel, that's when it really kicked off. That's fantastic for us all to see, isn't it?
Yeah,
depends where you stood.
No, even myself, I'm a big fan of this sport, you know. So and of course you're a little bit like, please guys, don't kill each other. But I can also really enjoy that battle. If as a motocross fan, if you even in my position, if you don't enjoy that battle, I think then you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know, because this is just how our sport needs to be, and that's what it makes so popular.
What about in MX2? It seems that PJ has picked up where Jeffrey left off last year. He's 50 points clear of Jeremy Seewer at the head of MX2. But who have you been more impressed with this year, Pauls Jonas or George? Jorge?
No, no. I think they're not better or worse than what I expected, more or less. I think Pauls has proven in the past that he can ride up front, that he can win GPs. He hadn't won that many GPs before coming into this year, but he had been runner-up in the championship and stuff like that. He was doing really well last year until he got injured. Sure. So I think that was something we could expect from him to do, let's say. Also physically, he's very well prepared, very ambitious as well. And with Jorge also, that's kind of how I expected. Don't forget that this year, and a lot of people don't know that, but that he combined his racing with going full time to school. Yes. So it was only people said like, Jorge is going a little bit less, like winning in Arco, but then like struggling for a few weeks, months maybe. But hey, those days like from April to June, he really spent a lot of time at school, and he has to fight with all like really full professionals and even guys that are 4, 5, 6 years older than he is. So, and this is only his first year as, I can't say full professional, as semi-professional. Yeah. So, and like when school finished, it might sound maybe a little bit stupid, but it is not. Like after the exams finished in June, I was really expecting him to grow to his best level again. And to be honest, I didn't expect that level to arrive already in Lommel, but I expected more to be like for the end of August and let's say the last 3 GPs of the year. But obviously the fact that he could train for 5, 6 weeks properly and especially rest properly, that gave him a mental boost and made him so strong that he could do it all. He pulled it off already in Lommel. Yeah,
okay. Well, Prado's clearly a star of the future. Yep. Where does his future lie in KTM and also Pauls Jonas as well?
And briefly, because we are almost out of time here.
I think both sides are pretty clear. Pauls is going to stay in Europe normally. That's our bet for the future in Europe. And Jorge, his dreams are set on the US.
Okay. And just final question before we do go. How difficult has it been to select Team Belgium for the Monster Energy Motocross of Nations this year?
It wasn't too difficult this year. I think Julien's okay and Jeremy and Clement as well, so it wasn't too difficult.
Yeah.
All right, Joel, we are out of time, but thanks for joining us here today. All the best this weekend for you and your riders and for the rest of the season as well. But that is it on our MXGP TV studio show here in Switzerland. Of course, all the action is live today from 3:20. That's EMX 125. Don't forget, we've got 250 European 300s as well, presented by FMF Racing. The final round of that, of course, MX2 and MXGP qualifying races to come today as well. Sit back and enjoy the rest of the action today on MXGPTV.com. We're going to go watch the MX2 practice. We'll see you next time.